All right, Jake. Well, we're up and running. I appreciate you taking a little time to chat with me, man. I think you have an absolutely incredible story, and I've had the privilege of telling a little bit about your survival and kind of the beginning stages of your road to recovery. And it's amazing to see you here in front of me right now. How are you feeling right now?
Good. Yeah, it's been 2 years, and good. It's the first year was like I basically had to learn how to be human again,
Yeah,
and everything but my speech obviously is good.
yeah.
Uh, in the coma, my kidneys died.
Yeah.
So I was on dialysis for about a year, and exactly a year ago, I got a new one from, used from a guy that died in Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's going good.
So that yeah, it's for people who don't know, you were in a coma for 42 days, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I had a stroke during the coma. I had a stroke and a heart attack.
So it's come with a lot of other health issues as well, then, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I, people tell me that I was flatlined, well, technically dead for 10 minutes.
Wow. What do you think about that when you say that? You were actually you died, but you're alive and you've survived, and here you are today. I mean, what incredible.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like um, I can feel it. Of course, I was in coma, but it was like a dream. And I'm reading a book about it, but it was like when you have a really vivid dream, you feel like it was real, kinda.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever had one of those, but like you wake up and you look around and it's like it felt like you didn't fall asleep. That's kind of how the coma felt.
So
And
it was like a dream, you said.
yeah, but a lot of it felt like just darkness. Just I mean, I don't. If you could call it death, I don't know. I mean, because I don't know anyone else who has like really said that, like talked about it, like what it's like or what they saw. But I mean, after I woke up, it was very confusing. It's like having to learn how to be human again, and that was very hard.
Yeah, I bet it's a pretty unique experience.
Yeah,
Not a lot of people out there that you can talk to about that, I suspect, huh?
yeah.
Well, I want to know just about your whole life in general, just all the way through. Really,
Yeah,
you were in the military. You were an Army Ranger, if I recall correctly.
yeah.
The sheriff's deputy. I mean, you've done a lot of really incredible things, admirable things. So I want to find out, what are some of your kind of earliest memories? I mean, what was life like for a young Jake Booth? What were you into when you were a kid, and what kind of stuff did you do growing up?
Well, I grew up. I was born in St. Louis, and my parents moved to Minnesota. So I grew up on a farm there. We're out in the middle of nowhere on a farm, and so grew up kind of rural. Lots of guns, horses, cows, lots of animals running around in the woods. Um, yeah, motorcycles, dirt bikes.
Sounds like what
snowboarding.
it sounds like what a lot of people might call kind of the American dream, huh? Growing up like that.
Yeah, it's hard to find now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone back there and it's kind of weird now. It's a lot of, it's like a kind of a city, like, you know. But other than that, um, after high school, my parents moved down to here, to Florida, and I had a choice, either come with them or stay. And so, of course, I chose college and went down there here, and then went to FGCU, and it was basically right after they built it. So it was, I think I was a second class at FGCU, and we started their hockey team.
Okay.
So I played there hockey a lot, and then about 5 years later, I mean, back and forth between Minnesota and Florida for friends, and eventually came back, back up there, and I was a teen, so, and then when I was up there, I kind of lost my way. I had a band. We kind of did some weird stuff. Got kind of. I chose to join the army after 9/11, because I mean, it was like just reality hit me.
Yeah.
Like after the attack in New York, and I joined. So, and then I got hurt a few years later, and then came back and recovered at my parents. And
How did you said you got hurt in the army?
yeah,
Is that something you could talk about? What happened what happened there?
I don't really like to talk about it, but
Okay.
no.
Was the experience in the army? I mean, because you were an Army Ranger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not easy to do. That's about that's the highest echelon of military service. That you can achieve. I mean, what was the experience?
No.
It's remarkable. I mean, I admire anybody that can do that. I know a little bit about what goes into that. I've never done it myself personally, but I'm amazed by it, and I think it's incredible that you did that. What was that? And in being in such an elite, service group like that.
It was really, to me, about the guys I was with.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the army. It was the guys.
Mm-hmm. You still keep in touch with some of those guys?
Some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get out of the army, and then what happens?
I came back to my parents here in Florida, and I became a limo driver.
Okay.
For a while. That was weird, and it was like kind of like there were a lot of celebrities that like I would drive to the airport from Naples, from like huge houses, and Airbnb man, the art thing.
Yeah.
And they were weird.
They were weird.
One time I drove Johnny Depp.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was odd.
What do you remember about him?
Just weird requests. He had an assistant, and like, yeah, this is true. He talked weird. I don't know, but Hollywood, you know.
And what?
Strange. But after that, I met Jasmine, my current wife, and then I became a cop in for Collier County Sheriff. And
what was that? What was that process like? How did you get it? How did you get involved in that?
Well, I saw their ad, so I applied, and then they called me. Then there's a meeting. You go down there at their office, and they interview you, and then you wait for a call back, and then they call you. Then you go back and do like a polygraph and some other stuff like background check, and eventually you go back and do all the paperwork, and then you start academy. The academy is in Dunbar, I think.
Yeah.
Up in Fort Myers, not a bad area. So I think it being there kind of lowers crime a bit, but other than that, it was like a lot of classroom, and it was like one test a week, and there was a lot of policy. Like, you had to know a lot of policy.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 months, and then we went on duty.
Okay. How much did you pull on your military experience? Was it pretty similar, or was it kind of like a whole different ball game when you were doing law enforcement as compared to military service?
I was nothing like military. It was very laid back, and I mean, Naples, you don't have much action there. I mean, that's mostly like retired people or really wealthy people, and there's some areas, most of the areas that get a lot of calls, like the I don't know what to say how they are, but it's kind of rough areas.
Yeah.
But not nearly as bad as other places.
Yeah. And how long did you do that for?
10 years.
10 years. Yeah. Was that a good experience? I mean, did you enjoy it when it was also?
Well, I started in the jail,
Mm-hmm.
working in the jail, and then I did the crossover, which you do training and then go to work on the road. And the jail was very weird. Our prison, and prison is like they live there. Prison, in jail, like they're just there till their trial is done.
Yeah.
So their attitude is like, I knew I'm gonna mess with these guys. Most of them just wanted to fight or mess with us. So it was very exciting. It was fun at times, but very boring when nothing was going on.
Mm-hmm. So for somebody like you who's maybe a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, that was kind of an exciting time because you didn't really know what was going to happen, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after a while, I mean, you got used to it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of sitting around. And in the Army, too, it's mostly just sitting around.
Right. Hurry.
I'd say 98% sitting around.
What is it? Hurry up and wait, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Well, you've lived this life, man. You talk about even you're a hockey player, then you go to the military. You're a cop, like you said. You're a tough guy. You're a professional tough guy. But somewhere along the line, you become a. You've got now an experience where, boy, the tough guy doesn't really work out too much. You've got to be. You know, a caring father. What was fatherhood like for you?
It was very humbling. Um, it was like growing up in like a few days. I grew up very fast
Mm-hmm.
because when Abel was born, our first child, I was a deputy, so it was kind of like you have so much power, then you see a child born, and you realize such a small thing is like so precious. And from then on, I was like, I didn't really care about drama or fights. I just did my job, and I worried about my family more. So, you could say it was like my job and my career to my family.
Mm-hmm. Changed you, huh?
Yeah. But I, since I was cop, they let me into the room, so I got to see the whole thing,
Is that right?
the whole birth. And they say not to look. Like all the guys in noon said, "Don't look." I did. Yeah.
Powerful experience, huh?
Yeah. Because normally the doctors and the nurses don't want you to look because you might faint. But they knew I'd seen worse.
Yeah.
So they let me watch. For new dads, I wouldn't recommend watching.
That's interesting. So, I mean, man, you're talking about how much that changed you and made you really focus on your family at that point, and I think it was not too long after that you ended up leaving law enforcement. Was that kind of part of it? You decided. I mean, how did that all play out? Was that the reason why? Was there something else that made you decide you wanted to have another change? Yeah. How did you?
Kinda, yeah. Cause like after a second, after Aiden was born, I realized I just didn't want to do it anymore. I got sick of the drama and the politics and just seeing some friend. Um, my wife babysitted for him. She babysitted for him and his wife, and cause their daughter had ballet with ours,
Mm-hmm.
so that's how we knew him, and he knew that I was kind of a nerd with computers, so he offered me a ticket. So I became a software engineer.
What year was that?
2000, I think 16,
Okay.
15.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah, 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there about a year before the Coma.
Yeah. What was that new life like? Kind of your first grown up job outside of either military or law enforcement. What was it? How did that transition go for
Because I was used to being around cops. Like, even the women were very cool. Like, they were like the guys, I mean, and friends and women friends, in law enforcement. And when I left, it was weird because the office friends were like very calm and cool. Like when you got a cop for a while, you kind of expect things to happen, but in an office, it's calm. It's very calm. So getting used to that was weird.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
deadlines, and having responsibility. That was definitely something.
Something new, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, you know, you were at this point in your life. Sounds like everything was really going well. And then in 2016, I think in the spring, that's when you got sick, right?
Yeah. I think it was around May or April. With India, we used to have a team in India, so they would take care of things while this part of the world was asleep. So I would have to stay up and work with them because I was the infrastructure infrastructure manager.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and so basically that means taking care of the servers. We had a ton, and the data, all the data things. But I worked a lot. I kind of worked too much. I wouldn't really blame it on anyone. It was kind of my choice.
Mm-hmm.
But my work ethic kind of made me work too much. So I would work at like 20 hours a day, even on Saturdays, some Sundays.
Wow.
And I got sick. And I didn't think it was so bad. And I think they prescribed me the wrong thing. And so it got worse. And my lungs filled with pneumonia. And one day in the meeting, I just passed out. We were just sitting there talking in the meeting. I just passed out. And then I woke up at NCH hospital in the ER with a bunch of doctors, nurses, my wife, and some friends. And the orderlies were there. Because it's kind of blurry, but they told my wife what needed to happen because my lungs were full of pneumonia. So if they didn't do anything, I would die. So the only option was coma, inducing a coma. So on hearing that news, I kind of flipped out. So I punched an orderly. They tried to hold me down. I wouldn't do it. To me, I was fighting for my life. I got pretty violent. And back then I was big. About 250 and pretty strong. But I think it was 4 orderlies. to hold me down, and then they injected something. My wife told them to go ahead with it because they deemed me unable to decide, I guess. So they let her decide. So that's when I went to sleep, fighting them, that darkness. And then dreams, very weird dreams. And then I couldn't really sense time, but 4 months. So after they induced coma, I was there for bed, and then they flew me to Tampa because they needed to put me in a rotary bed, which makes the blood circulate, so I would spin like kind of like hot dogs at the gas station in that thing.
Okay.
Kind of weird, but yeah. And that would make my blood circulate. And during which, those 4 months, my wife was there, they visited, and yeah, a lot of people came, like our minister, our pastor, some friends, and my mom said she would play music like Linkin Park was at that time, it was my favorite. So she played that and talked to me. I vaguely remember that.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you remember about that?
I remember, like, kind of like the way I see it. When you're kind of conscious, but not, it's kind of like, it's like if you were alive, but trapped in your body, and you couldn't open your eyes, you could, but you would sleep, and you couldn't move. Sounds awful. It was, but I mean, the awful parts, I don't really remember much. The pain.
You felt pain.
Yeah, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that was?
Probably. Well, I mean, they had to like take all my blood out of me and put it back in, and I had a tracheotomy. I had a heart attack, stroke. I mean, needles. The blood would like pull up in my legs and my arms. I swelled up a bit. This is what they told me, but I mean, it was about 2 months into it when I had the heart attack and the stroke.
It was 2 months in you had the heart attack and the stroke, you said?
I think so.
Yeah.
But everyone has told me that the doctors had said 10 minutes. So they thought I was dead. And they were trying to bring me back. I came back. But after that, they assumed I was brain dead. So they told my wife I was dead. And they gave her choice to either let me die with a plug or let me stay as a vegetable. And what she has told me is always a very hard decision.
What do you think about that?
Obviously, I'm glad she did it. But, I mean, lately, based on her actions, and the way she's been since the coma, sometimes I wonder why she did choose that.
To keep you alive, yeah.
Sometimes I wonder why she didn't choose to pull the plug.
Well, I'm glad she didn't, Jake, because eventually it proved to be the right call, and you woke up.
Yeah.
I remember about an experience that he had when he was visiting you while you were in the coma, and he was with your father, I think. I'm not sure if your brother was there, but I think it was your father's something that he saw when you were brought out and life flighted. I think either it was to Tampa or back to Naples, and he said that when the sun hit your face, your eyes flickered a little bit, and I think they thought they knew at that point that you were going to be okay. But do you remember any of that, what were your first memories coming out?
I do remember that. That was when, but to promise. Promise is a recovery. Recovery is you. I see you hospital. So they were at the point in Tampa that they decided that I was either dead or I had to be transported to Rams just to be there. I think the doctors thought I would recover, maybe, but on the way out to the helicopter, my dad was walking by my stretcher, and the sun was glaring on my face, and kind of made me like the brightness made me react.
Yeah.
And I think I opened my eyes, and I saw him just a bit.
You saw your dad?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I must have went back to sleep. And then when they got me in the room, I woke up. And I looked around, and they were there. My mom and dad, my brother, my wife. And they had to wear suits, like the white things and masks. And I was very confused. It was like waking up from a really bad dream and not really accepting that it was a dream. it's hard to explain. But I tried to talk and with the thing, and I couldn't really. But I tried really hard, and I got out. I want Taco Bell. And that's where the thing came from.
Yeah, that's the part of the story I think a lot of people. The whole story is fascinating to me, Jake. But that's obviously you understand now that that's the kind of the part of the story that made it gain attention from a lot of people. What do you think about that part of the fact that a lot of people know about this just because they say there's a guy that was in a coma and the first thing he says is I want Taco Bell. What do you think about that now that's kind of become sort of the viral part of this story?
I don't really mind because Taco Bell has been very good to us. There's a regional manager named Carlos, and he really was nice, and I still talk to him, and because of him, there was a lot of donations from Taco Bell, a lot, and a lot of support, and free tacos.
You haven't gotten sick of it yet, huh?
No, my favorite is the cheesy gordita.
That's awesome, man.
It's like a burrito with a taco in it with this really awesome sauce.
How can you go wrong with that, man? That sounds fantastic. Well, that's kind of the one kind of fun part of the story. The rest of it's is not easy, I'm sure. I was there. I don't know if you remember, but I was there the moment you came home for the first time. It was really powerful for me just to witness that moment for you and what that must have been like. I can only imagine after months of being in coma and in hospitals all over the state of Florida, finally getting the chance to come home and see your kids and your family. I mean, what happened after that? Boy, the Taco Bell, that's just a small part of the story, really. There's so much more to this. There's the recovery and the, all the rehab. What has it been like, and what has gone into getting back to where you are now?
Well, recovery was mostly at Primus Hospital. Is in North 4 miles, and the way it's kind of hard to explain. When I woke up, I was very out of it, and in my mind, I thought I was in Minnesota. So I remember going snowmobiling. I remember my treasure was a snowmobile. It's weird. So my brain was kind of scrambled. But after about a month, when I could breathe again, they took this thing out and they moved me to I think it was physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Physical therapy wing, and I slowly started to walk again, and I had dialysis. Dialysis is where they hook up like a machine to you, with needles, and it cleans out your blood, because kidneys took that, and they died.
So when did you ended up getting the transplant? How long after you woke up was that?
Well, I got it a year ago, so about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had the new kidney for a year, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah. What else? I mean, are you still kind of doing rehab? What is kind of your day to day with that kind of stuff now?
Well, the main thing is voice.
Yeah.
Like talking, obviously, is hard because when they went into my lungs to scare about the pneumonia, they breathed all this up. All this was just much. So they told me they said I would never talk again at first, because I mean they had to go down in my lungs, squeeze the entire things out. They were full of just like much, just pneumonia. But the recovery, walking was very hard. At first, he had to like hold me up, and from the pictures in the room, they had like these pedal machines, and the physical therapists were awesome. They did very good work, and the speech therapists, other than that, it was a lot of, like, I had to learn how to eat again, and swallow, and drink, and breathe. And for a long time, I was on a catheter and had to number 2 into like a bedpan. It was awful.
Yeah. But you find the odds, Jake. It's incredible. I mean, you talk about. They said you'd never talk again. They said they didn't think you were going to live. And yeah, and you're doing all those things. What do you chalk that up to? I mean, why you? I mean, how are you the one that went through this experience, this awful medical? I mean, just so many different things coming at you at one time medically that most people probably wouldn't make it through, but you did. Why do you think you now to a point where you can live independently?
I think a lot of it was, I mean, I've been religious off and on, off and on. I don't know where to say, but I do believe in God, but not like fanatically. But I think my wife, she prayed a lot and had a lot of faith that I would come through, that I would survive. And a lot of other people were praying and hoping, like on Facebook and family. So I think a lot of it was prayer and faith. Also, I'm very, very stubborn. So if it was God or Satan, they didn't win. I fought back, I think. I mean, based on the dreams and what I remember from after, it was a battle.
You mentioned something in there, the some of the social media and your family. That's how I kind of got in touch with your brother initially, was through the Wake Up Jake Facebook page that he started. You know, his belief that you were going to get through this, just like you say your wife thought, and the rest of your family, they all thought you were going to wake up. They knew who you were. And in talking with your brother a lot, frankly, as you were kind of going through all of this, you know, I remember him talking about, you know, some things that he had going on in his life, and maybe some of the struggles that he had with his, and there were some things going on there, and he talked about how it really brought everyone together again, and relationships were mended through, kind of brought the family together again. I mean, what do you think about the fact that that's been sort of a lasting impact that you've had, that that people have kind of, they rallied around you, and it brought them closer together kind of as a result of all that?
I'm happy about that. I mean, my brother started the beat, and it was like for about 10 years, me and my brother were kind of distant because he moved to Arizona when I was like in my teens. So I didn't see him a lot, but I did look up to him, and I loved him. I do love him, but the page was definitely brought a lot of people together, and I'm glad for that. And the relationship between my parents and him kind of was very much better.
Yeah.
I mean, he flew all the way back here. He was here for about a month, and he was with my parents. So I'm glad for that.
Mm-hmm.
And still good.
Good.
But after it all died down, kind of the page he made and the Facebook thing, there were some negative things. Like, there were some people that said awful things. So we ignored them, but kinda, I think eventually they got to him. And so he kind of on the back burner now.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it's a good thing, but he is moved on, and he's doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate everything he did.
Mm.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he's doing a lot of good things. He's doing a biker club thing that goes around that helps, like, homeless and kids.
Well, so now what's next with you? You're writing this book. You want to share your story. I mean, why do you want people to hear about what happened to you, and what lessons do you want people to take from your story?
Oh, well, the main one is you never know. You have to really live life, really live it. Because you never know when it could just poof, gone. Because that day was like any other day. And I ended up in a coma. I've never expected that. So the main thing is just live your life. Do not take anything for granted. Love your family. Love your kids. Love your wife. And just, if you're a dad, be a dad. Because I messed up. Before the coma, I wasn't a very good dad. I was very distant. I was either in work or on the computer. There's a lot of things I regret. That coma kind of made me wake up. I really did wake up. The whole thing was wake up, Jake. And I really did wake up. It took a while. For about a year. Yeah, about a year. I didn't really know what I was doing. So, my wife was really sad for the way I was. So, I've been trying, by learning from the coma, I've realized what life is all about. It's about, if you're dad, you have a family and a wife. If you really love that, you have to be in it and love it and really work hard. Like, if your wife needs help, do that and more. If your kids need help, always strive to be better.
Good advice, man.
And don't take anything for granted, because life is so fragile. You could just be gone any instant. It would be over. It could be over. I thought I was invincible back then. I had a great life. I had a great job. And a lot of it could have been prevented. Just take care of yourself. If you get sick, take your meds.
Well, Jake, I really appreciate your willingness to talk to me today, man. It's been an incredible experience for me. I think about you every once in a while, so it was good. It was good to hear back from you, because you're just an incredible picture of perseverance and survival. And I wish nothing but the best for you. And I know I don't even need to do that, because you're gonna do it anyways. Because it's like you said, you've got that work ethic and the stubbornness that's gonna keep you on going forward. So I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Um, just never quit. If something is in your way, fight. Fight for whatever you love.
Thank you, Jake. We'll end on that note. I appreciate it.